Hello everyone! We're bringing you a quick roundup of things that have happened in the last few hours. We didn't have a video yesterday, so we've been gathering things that happened during yesterday and the day before. So we can share the most recent news first. Fausto Vera is River's new signing. And well, as these guys always do, the media is usually run by people from the Ribera team. They leaked tweets from this kid before he played for River. I'm not sure if he was at Argentinos Juniors or already in Brazil, showing he wrote a lot about River using a capital B, etc. Many people on Instagram asked, Hernan, what do you think about this Boca fan? Just another Boca fan. Guys, there are players at River who at some point have been Boca fans. Let's remember, Oso Prato had the number 12 on his profiles. Recently, in an interview, I think with Barsky, he said he was a Boca fan. It's nothing new, I think with Lidio too. Honestly, I don't care who they're fans of. If they come to River and perform, I don't care. If they come to River and perform... Yeah, there are some questionable tweets. He used to tease a lot. Still, we need to hold him accountable. Look, for example, you can't find any tweets from Colibri Borja trashing River and the guy is negotiating to go to Boca. It's more important to focus on how River's players are doing here. If they're guys who understand the context, if they're going to give it their all, than what they were like when they were teenagers or kids. What worries me more is that many followers from Brazil wrote to me. In Brazil, they teased him as exhausted Vera instead of Fausto Vera since he often seemed tired and barely played last year. That worries me more than any tweets he might have posted. In fact, just look at how the media operates. The double standards that Rodrigo Batalla joined Boca, right, being a River fan, and there haven't been, they've looked up small details about his family and he are all big River fans. Haven't the media already done this? Same case with Askasibar. We're gathering material to make a nice report if the Russian joins River. People say his brothers are Boca fans, just to sway River's transfer market. Actually, what Fausto Vera did was wrong. All the posts he made were wrong. But what matters more to me is what he can show on the field. I have doubts about last year and what I've already mentioned. Guys, let's talk about the post by the Argentine Football Association's Deputy Secretary Maxi Levi. Simple. The post went like this. Look, this guy is teasing Verón, joking about the World Cup's weight. He claims he knows how much it weighs because he held it like any journalist who covered the World Cup could have. We've reached a limit that I don't like. When someone who never played soccer or made a name for himself speaks, I doubt his experience. I made fun of Verón as a soccer player. Then you can criticize Verón for the 2002 World Cup, a lot of things, and also his ideology. You can question anything about Verón. In this case, a divide is being created between those who are anti-Milei and those who aren't anti-Milei, which makes no sense at all. Defending Verón's stance against the Argentine Football Association doesn't mean you're pro-Milei, or maybe for some people it does, but one thing has nothing to do with the other. I noticed that people who oppose Milei or are Peronists are against Verón, even admitting, Verón is right, but we must support Tapia, since Milei backs Verón. We're at a crazy level, people. I'm always going to be anti-Tapia, regardless of my ideology. I don't like what he does. We have videos from more than 3 years ago. Now there's this whole movement of investigations against the Argentine Football Association. We're not jumping on this bandwagon. We've been questioning this for more than 3 years, and that's why we have no problem expressing it and saying it. We're gonna share a video now. Yesterday, Duka was here. Vasco de la Gente, Vasquito Gorocha, did a great interview with him in his segment, Choclos. We're going to stick with a fragment. You can probably watch a lot more in his reels because there's a lot to talk about. But Duka refers to the Madrid final. Who was favored by moving that match to Madrid? Let's share it.
River represents Argentine soccer. They own the game. So when they challenge Tapia, if Boca and River own soccer, what about Tapia? Where was the Madrid final held? Tapia was there, right?
Yes, sir.
They went to River's stadium, Infantino attended, but left and the game happened in Madrid.
Let's visit 2018.
Yes.
Boca on the way to...
There's a lot of money involved. We'll play in Madrid and give money to everyone.
And what about the rocks thrown at the bus? And what about Pablo Perez's covered eye?
He refuses to play at Rivers Stadium, saying it's terrible. They played at Boca's Stadium, but won't at Rivers. Let me ask, where would River be if they lost in Madrid?
They would have disappeared.
They would have disappeared, but someone stayed. He preferred to give priority to money rather than to... Instead of Rivers' home game, right?
Angelici in that case for you. Did he handle himself well politically in 2018?
He played both Libertadores finals at home with Boca fans. See if he handled himself well. Terrible.
He looks like an idiot for having lost it.
There's still the soccer pot. You can't buy the referees. That's a...
Duka, do you know why I'm telling you this? I want to share my opinion. If I were Angelici, given the 2015 precedent, I wouldn't play the match under any circumstances.
What a genius. He took you out of River Stadium in a Libertadores final. River could have been champion at home against Boca. If Madrid was big, imagine what that would have been. Lifting the Copa Libertadores at the Monumental against Boca.
And what if you stand your ground and, like you said before about the local tournament and everything, what if Angelici stood his ground and didn't play? Let them win it by default.
The Libertadores.
Would I look like a coward?
But if he took him out, the one who benefited was Boca. Yes, the one who benefited was Boca. For Boca to benefit, I need to offer you something in return. Maybe someday they'll say what they gave him. You're an expensive thing. Independiente faces Racing in the Libertadores final. Hopefully that never happens. We die. Exactly. I don't want either of us to die, right? Play on your own turf. Packed to the brim. Final of the... You get it? Let's say the Libertadores final. It ended in a 2-2 draw. We have to play at the Libertadores de America. There's no way I won't play at the Libertadores de America. No amount of money could get you out of the Cilindro. If it were reversed, you played at Independiente's stadium first and tied. So now you have the advantage at the Cilindro. To Madrid, why would I go there? He knows about the rain, he knows about the coffins,
But see how pleasant this conversation is. At least here, you convinced me. Historically, I thought what Angelici did was a mistake, and now you're telling me to take him out of the Monumental. Well, that's true. You go with both crowds.
There was a Libertadores final at Real Madrid at La Bombonera.
Twice with an audience.
Both times with my group.
But you know how this is. The focus on results also leads me...
I'll add this. Gallardo was out. Vizquay played, so we should have won. But the ball just wouldn't go in. You see?
We were editing the video. I realized I still had a few things left to say about this part of Vasco's interview with Duka. He notes that Boca benefited because they played one match at home with their fans and the other at the Bernabeu, also with their fans. River didn't have the chance to play with only River fans. Another thing he mentions is that River played without their coach, Gallardo, who was suspended in a ridiculous way. There was no amnesty for the final, which is odd. And there's something I don't agree with. He implies that River Donofrio, I don't know who he's referring to. They made a lot of money by accepting that match in Madrid. It's obvious it was a business for many people. CONMEBOL has made a lot of money. I understand that Boca must have gotten their share. I understand that River did too, since the match was at the Bernabeu. But River didn't have any chance to negotiate anything. River played at the Bernabeu because, from what I found out, after the incidents like rocks thrown at the buses, they had no choice. They either played there or lost the final. River couldn't negotiate due to what happened in 2015. There, it seems to me, he's just making stuff up trying to smear River, because he realizes he had already thrown out a fact that smeared Boca, and he says, hey, no, the one who was favored was Boca. Then they didn't win because they're inexperienced. That's my opinion. Alright folks, to wrap up this promised video, Pipo Gorosito was on F90 yesterday. When he's jobless, he arrives with Viñolo to look for work. He also shared a fact. He mentioned the Biri again and talked about something to entertain us for a while, so let's share it.
That thing you said about the Biri, did you say it to motivate your players? That stuck, the Biri thing?
How long has it been since Boca last won the Libertadores?
In 2007.
And they filled the stadium and screamed like crazy.
Yes, of course.
The stadium draws you in. But if it truly mattered, teams with the most fans would always win championships.
It doesn't win.
Do you know who used to win? Bianchi, Riquelme, Palermo, Guillermo. They won, they always used to win.